Which of course begs the question, how do you find something that aligns with your skill set? So the first thing that comes to my mind is that you need to go get the skill set by solving your current problems. So let me take you back 10 years ago to a very young Timmy, 14 years old. And I was talking with my parents one day in the house, and they were stressed. They're like, where's the money gonna come from? We're gonna have to move. Are we gonna have to take Timmy out of high school? He was just getting in with the football team. He was just getting moved up to varsity. What is this gonna do to our life? So here I saw my two parents, whom I was relying on for all of my financial needs. And you don't really realize how deep that is until you grow up and you start to be financially responsible for yourself. They had 6 kids in the house. There was a lot of stress on their shoulders. And here I am hearing them talk about the stresses and the worries they have regarding what our living situation is going to be because they couldn't make the mortgage. It was a few years after '08 and my dad had gotten laid off. His company was struggling and we were just in a precarious financial situation. And so there I am, looking at this stress, looking at this struggle, realizing that I have this problem of I am broke. Why aren't the people around me feeling this way too? Why aren't their parents arguing? And of course, I didn't understand what happened behind closed doors in other people's homes, but I was sitting there as a 14-year-old kid thinking, everybody around me doesn't have these problems. Everybody around me is much better off financially. Why aren't we? So there I am. We're about to lose the house. And I look at my parents and I say, hey, we're always talking in church about trusting God. This is a perfect moment to be able to do it. And despite that kind of insight into trusting God in a horrible situation, right, where you're about to lose your home, you might be like, that's wise for a kid. I wasn't like satisfied with that answer. I was just trying to reassure my parents because at that moment, I had made a commitment to myself. I said, everybody around me isn't struggling financially, but my parents are. My family is. I'm going to become wealthy so that I can take away the financial stress that my family experiences. Because also growing up, my parents argued a lot about money. And so there I identified a problem I had. I was like, I am broke. We are broke. We are not going to be broke one day. So for those 10 years, I played football, I finished out high school, finished out college, and in the past 2 years, I've really focused in on honing that skill set to solve my problem. And my family is not financially free yet, but one day we will be. And it's because of a commitment I made from a problem I identified at 14 years old. So go get the skill set by solving your current problems, and then you'll learn kind of where your niche is. Because when I was in college, I was trying to sell t-shirts on Amazon. I was trying to flip books from Goodwill. I was trying to just buy and hold regular long-term real estate, but the numbers weren't working out. I was trying to sell coaching services. I went to start a nonprofit. I went through so many businesses. And it's because I was trying to figure out where my skill set is. And I was developing the character traits to become the person that I needed to be. But identifying that problem, making the commitment to solving that problem, that really helped me in developing my skill set. That commitment led to the action, which led to me being in front of you here today. And then another thing I want to kind of point out is I had the problem of being broke. But as I matured, I started to ask myself, okay, if life is this hard for me, and I still have a house, like I still have food, I still finished high school, I still finished college, but it's that stressful, it's that emotionally stressful for me, what is it like for everybody else? And so as I matured in my faith and as I kind of understood what love was more, I was out with some friends one day in Charlotte. We were celebrating a birthday. I went to college in North Carolina. So we're running around Charlotte, kind of just, being young adults celebrating a birthday, and I see a homeless person and they're asking for money and I'm not able to help them. And at this point I was kind of a year or two into my entrepreneurial journey and realized that there were people my age doing it a lot bigger than I was. So when I was looking at that homeless person, realizing that I couldn't give them the cash that they needed, I realized that I wanted to be able to do more than just give them cash. I was like, if I could just take this person off the street right now, put them in a home, and have the material wealth to provide food, shelter, water, and safety for the next year or two, I could help them reintegrate back into society. And when I realized that because I hadn't become the best version of myself, I wasn't able to help people as much as I wanted to, that's when I started to realize I need to go improve my skill set to solve my current problem of not being able to help people. So I had the first problem of being broke, made that commitment, started developing the skill set to get wealthy to help my family. Saw people, realized I wasn't developing the skill set at a fast enough pace, and started turning up and ramping up the massive action because I was like, if I was a better version of myself right now, I would be able to help more people. And so when you're looking for something that aligns with your skill set, go to the problems you have now and seek to solve those. And in the journey to solving those problems, you will become a person who can help people a lot because you helped yourself a lot. And now that your cup is overflowing, you can give from the overflow. Other ways you find something that aligns with your skill set, think about who you used to be and what obstacles you overcame. So this isn't identifying the problems and starting the journey of commitment to solving those problems. It's asking yourself, what problems have I solved for myself to this day? Maybe in middle school, you were a really awkward person. Maybe you were a really angry person. Maybe you just didn't know how to have friends. Maybe you didn't know what questions to ask yourself to resolve your emotions. Or maybe you're a bit further along in business and you didn't understand how to build a sales team, or you didn't understand how to market. Or maybe you've perfected market research. Whatever you are good at, whatever you're doing every day, ask yourself, how did I get to the point of doing this? And think about who you were right before you were able to do that and what obstacles you overcame, kind of your origin story. So for me, with this podcast, I didn't know about kind of my dreams and goals for a little bit. I wasn't crystal clear on it. But then I got really clear on the big vision I had. I have two goals in my life: financial freedom for myself and my family, and then raising the standard of living across the world to middle class America so that everybody has more than enough food, shelter, water, and safety. And so with those two big goals, they're my North Star. I realized that in talking to people, not only did people not think that big, but they weren't that clear on where they wanted to go. And so when you're getting clear on where you want to go, just think about who you used to be and what obstacles you overcame. And that'll help you kind of understand the emotion and then the problem you want to solve to get to where you want to go, right? So you heard my two stories: lost my house at 14, seeing a homeless person. Those were problems I had. Obstacles I overcame in the sense that I got clear about where I wanted to go. And in doing that, I realized that I have a skill set of helping people get clear on where they want to go. I can't help them exactly get to where they want to be, but I can help them ask the questions and think big enough to actually get clear on where they wanted to go. And that's what helped me start this podcast. I realized I love talking to people about their dreams and goals, and I loved helping them take one step towards that dream and goal. Because I hadn't really taken more than one step myself, but I could help them take that one step. So the podcast started. I asked people about their dreams and goals. I asked them about the step they could take, the people they could meet, the skill set, the character traits they could develop, all of that stuff, right? But in the middle of that, about 600 episodes in, I said, wow, I'm not providing the value that I want to and that I know I can now. Because 600 episodes in, I was posting daily. I've been posting for probably a year and a half. A year, 1.75 years or something like that. And I wasn't providing the value that I wanted to. People's lives weren't being changed, and I was like, I can do better. And I knew that the better came to niching down, which leads to me doing this podcast with you right now. So when I was finding what aligned with my skill set and where I really wanted to go, it started with who I used to be and what obstacles I overcame. And then as I stayed on that path, I overcame more obstacles. So then the who I used to be and what obstacles I overcame changed. And now I realize, okay, I'm crystal clear on how I'm going to hit those two goals. I'm going to scale sober living, and then I'm going to buy and sell businesses, and then I'm going to find a way to help people buy and sell businesses with me. And that's really the start of the new 1%, which is what I'm inviting all of you guys into. So as you grow, think about who you used to be, what obstacles you overcame, and where your skill set is now because of those obstacles, and start aligning what you're going to do with the skill set you currently have because of the obstacles you've overcome. And the final thing I want to talk about is giving them something for free. This brings me to my free mastermind story where, I was doing my shiny object syndrome, jumping from thing to thing to thing in the entrepreneurial world, and I finally hit it. I think I had I'd gone to a Dean Graziosi, Tony Robbins kind of elevate your life virtual event about getting started in the coaching arena, and I was like, I'm going to have a killer lead magnet and it's going to be an amazing offer and I'm going to get buku amounts of clients, right? That's kind of what I was thinking. I launched my free mastermind and some people are saying no to the mastermind. And it's because of a point that Alex Ramosi said, where sometimes the thing you're offering, there are hidden costs. It's not just money. So when you take away money, that's not the only cost. There's time. And if people aren't getting a good return on their time for where they are at in their life, they're not going to want to do business with you. And so when I was giving my free mastermind offer, I realized that people weren't coming back. I could get a bunch of people to come one time because they thought it was a cool thing, but I wasn't niched down, so I couldn't provide a lot of value to one person. It was all kind of, oh, let's hold you accountable to doing the things you know you should be doing. But that wasn't the offer that kept people coming back. And so I wasn't providing enough value with my free offer to keep them coming back, which means I need to pivot. I need to develop more skills. I need to make my free thing better. And so when you're finding something that aligns with your skill set, figure out what is the most valuable thing that you can give people for free, and then seek feedback. And then as you get feedback, make sure you improve your free thing. And what I realized, what I learned from giving that free mastermind is that A, I need to learn how to actually provide value, and B, that's probably going to come in the form of a niche because I need to help people solve a problem. Not just the kind of nebulous problem of accountability, but I need to be very specific, very pointed, and say, we are at this meeting to solve this problem, and we come weekly because we're solving this problem, and as we solve this problem, you will get X result. That's the value I need to be providing, and if I do that for free with a select few people who are trying to solve that problem, they'll keep coming back. And so, in the free mastermind story, I realized A, I need to provide more value. B, I need to charge. Like, another reason people weren't coming back, reason people weren't committed is because they didn't have to vote with their dollars. And they had 1 hour of time that they had to give up to come to this free mastermind. But in all actuality, that wasn't very risky because it was a Saturday kind of morning. It might have been a little inconvenient, but they didn't have a lot on the line. I realized that as people give you money, you are actually doing them a service because you are allowing them to be more confident in the service they're buying, which means they will put forth more effort, which means they will get a better result. And so allowing people to give you money is allowing them to commit in a way that they might not be used to in their life, or at least to a greater extent than if it's free, because it increases their downside, which means they want to get their money's worth, if you will. And so 2 things in that free mastermind. A, provide value. And you do that through niching down and solving a specific problem. And then B, charge people so that they're committed, so that they're bought in. And so that's really what I learned about kind of aligning my skill set. First, go get the skill set by solving your current problems. I thought I had done that. I got clarity, which led me to the podcast, right? I started interviewing people about their dreams and goals, helping them out, but it wasn't quite there yet, which led me to the free mastermind. I was like, I need to take this one step further. I need a back-end offer on the podcast where I'm specifically helping people out. But I learned I need to provide more value by niching down, and I need to give people an opportunity to pay so that I can actually provide immense value and they could be committed. Wrapping all that together, it's led me to where I am today, where the podcast is niched down into helping people buy and sell businesses. And I'm consistently trying to add value through the back-end offer of coming up with a lead magnet that is very potent, which is what I'm working on right now. And then as I get feedback on that, I'll obviously iterate. And the back-end offer is buying and selling businesses for people who want to impact 10,000 plus people. And so as I get feedback on that, I will also niche down. But again, this is all about finding something that aligns with your skill set. And it's about starting where you are with the problems you have. And then as you solve those problems, think about what obstacles you overcame and then add value to people in that way. And finally, give something for free. So that's what we got for you guys today on the show. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you on the next one. And on that note, we're out.